Adam, you see enough from Nick yesterday for him to play this weekend?
Today's training, yeah. So he'll train fully today. So if he gets through and feels good, then we'll play him. But if he doesn't feel right, then we won't. So obviously we're not going to take a risk this time of year. But yeah, let's see how he goes at training today.
Do you have any inkling as to how he's feeling at the moment? Or?
I think he's feeling okay. Yeah. So it's just how the knee's settled. You don't really know until you put it through its paces. So we've held off till today. And you're right. No.
Consider playing him a bit more forward and give you a bit more time to sort of Bailey to establish himself in the ruck.
Yeah, well, Bailey's had lots of opportunity this year, so it's probably more just Nick's management and how we do it. So if it gets to that point, we won't play him. So he's either right or he's not, and we think he's pretty good. So we'll find out today, and we'll make a call this afternoon. It'll be a pretty easy decision. Nick will tell us.
Really rarely having him back around the club this week.
Yeah, he slipped in pretty seamlessly, really. So he's back, and he'll be available this week. So he'll train fully today, and we expect him to play on Sunday.
And Elliot Yeo and Jack Petrucciani?
Yeah, unfortunately, Elliot's had a setback, so he's hurt his calf, so just can't get that right. So he'll be a couple more weeks, which is really disappointing for everyone because he's an important player. But more importantly, the continuity he's had this year has been next to nothing. So yeah, we've got to get that right.
I know last week you said you didn't want to put any players on ice, but you still have got 4 games left. But you're getting to the point now with Elliot where
not far. Yeah. So I mean, it's not a significant injury. It's just a small setback, and it's a different type of injury, different soft tissue injury. He had a hamstring when he went out. So yeah, it's disappointing.
He had that lower leg calf sort of related one at the start of the year. Is it the same side or is it the same?
I think it might be both sides. So yeah, he's doing everything he can, and then just at the last hurdle, he's just not getting that clean 2 or 3 weeks where once you get over that hump, you're sort of okay. And disrupted pre-season with it, and then it's just been carried all year really. The bottom half of his body has unfortunately let him down.
How about did that sort of come about, Adam? Was it training here or was it?
It was a sign-off session on Saturday, so last week.
And in terms of his, I guess, frustration levels, I imagine he's a competitor. He loves being out there. But how's he handling this year? I guess obviously
he's pretty resilient. Yeah, it's obviously frustrating for everyone, and we've got to try and get it right. So we'll investigate and do everything we possibly can to get it right. So he has a really good pre-season next year. But at the moment, all we can do is rehab it and get him right for hopefully the last couple of games.
200 games as a coach, Adam. Can you talk us through the ups and downs?
I thought you were talking about Gaffey's 250th. No, I didn't know that. I suppose it's about longevity as a coach. You don't get dropped. I'm sure some people may have asked why not recently, but no, it's not really. It's not on my radar. So you got me on the hop a little bit. It's I'm glad I've lasted so long.
Yeah. How's the job changed if you think back to getting the position 2014? How's the job sort of evolved over that time?
That's a good question. We've gone through a fair bit as an industry, haven't we, in the last 8 or 9 years? So, the COVID's made a real difference to the environment at AFL, I think, and with a soft cap reduction, it's made things a bit more challenging. So, and the highs and lows of success that you have, it's every season's different. So, some things that haven't changed at all, and some things have been a challenge.
I know this has got you on the hop a bit, but can you identify a couple of things that you're most proud of outside of the premiership?
The growth of the players, and to see them drafted as 17, 18-year-olds, and then almost at the back end now with some of these guys are in their 30s and they're married with kids, and just the quality people we've got at the club, and to be part of the growth that they have, and to see them have some success as well, that's been an honour.
Gold Coast, what have you made of their season and what are you expecting from them?
Yeah, they're a very honest side, very, very good, talented midfield. And they're not far off it. So the way they played against Brisbane last week, you could tell they're evolving by the day. So and their season's on the line. So it's just like the Saints last week. Really, we know what we're in for, and can we match it and play 4 quarters? Because if we do, we're half a chance.
Tuke Miller's been amazing this year, and it has been for a while now.
Yeah.
How do you go about stopping him?
It's difficult. No one's really done it this year. So yeah, the collective you look at, and then if there's individuals that go above and beyond, you've got to do something about it. So we'll work through it. Traditionally, we don't tag. And I'm not sure if you can tag him either.
Tim Kelly, have you been able to put your finger on exactly what happened on the weekend? Because even when you tag, you still get more than what he got.
Yeah. Oh, look, we've looked into it. Yeah, we'll work through some things with Tim. Normally he breaks through it. You know, what do you have, 40 possessions the week before, and he had a run with role. Someone ran with him then as well. So, yeah, it's we just think it's a one-off, hopefully, and you know, he's got some tools to work through for the next time it happens. It might happen this week. So, yeah, it's not a pattern. So until it becomes a pattern, we'll, you know, really do something about it. But at the moment, just got to work hard, work through it, get your friends and your teammates to support you, and can you be damaging in other ways? So that's probably the start point.
And physically, how is he?
Oh, he's carried a little bit for Corky, but I don't think that's any reason to say that's why he had that game. So he's playing his 100th this week. He played 51 or 2 for us. So you know, big game for him.
Does Kennedy travel this week?
No, he won't travel this week. No, we'll manage him. He's just hanging on, the big fella. And every time he plays with absolute heart. So he won't play this week.
Just as far as your midfield's concerned, I mean, you've been moving the magnets around just a little bit and chopping and changing a bit, and sort of seeing how, you know, players like Jai Cully, Xavier O'Neill sort of spending a bit more time in the midfield comparatively to some of the senior players.
Yep.
Is that what you're still looking to explore towards the back end of the season, giving them a bit more time in that sort of inside mid role?
Yeah, we mentioned that a bit last week, that we'll explore some players in different positions. So even Rotham as a second ruck. Jai, he's played 2 games, but you know, they've been 2 pretty good games on ball. So we'll continue to see him grow. Young Hoff been playing on the wing. You know, O'Neill's come into the side since he's come back from injury. So there's some opportunities there for our younger players, and our senior players we'll continue to try them in different spots as the season goes.
How did everyone pull up from the Optus surface? Was there heavier legs, or was everyone okay?
No, they were fine. Yeah, no, it might look bad, and sounds like that's what people are talking about, but it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. So yeah, no one's pulled up sore. Nothing's different. Nothing's changed.
And the sub-rule, a bit of chat about that this week. Have you got an opinion on what way that should go from next season?
Oh, I'd like it to be stable. How long's it been in for now? 2 years? Yeah, so just make a decision to stick with it would be my advice. Not that anyone would take that on, but yeah, it's drifting towards the 23rd man, but I've got no real opinions. Whatever rules they give, we'll follow.
Do you ever have concerns as a coaching team that it gets used not how it should be?
Not really. No. Sometimes you think there's some obvious things that are decisions that are made, but no, I don't think anyone deliberately goes out to break the rules. Maybe they get bent a little bit, but that's probably why it's a bit grey.
Some disappointment not getting Liam Baker to return home and maybe run out here, given his age profile and what he can add.
Oh, he's a Richmond player, so yeah, I know he's a Western Australian, and there was talk about it, but that's going to happen now, isn't it? There's going to be stories like that for the rest of the year, so we'll be part of those stories, I'm sure, both sides. But you know, I think you're going to find a lot of players stay at the club they're at, especially if they're happy.
In terms of trying to lure a player out of a club which they've been drafted to, does it have any impact given where you are in the ladder, you feel, or the ability to have success in the immediate short term?
I think every club's different. Every club has strengths and weaknesses when it comes to recruitment. Destination clubs, we're a big club. You know, we've got over 100,000 members, and we've had a lot of success over the years. So I'm sure we're seen in a positive light, but we're also 17th. So homegrown talent, you know, is obviously a bit easier to attract, but that's not to say that you're looking at everyone. And then there's also the environment they're in. So we draft a lot of Victorians that, you know, don't want to leave, and there's a lot of Western Australians that don't want to leave Victoria. So it's just circumstances and inquiries, and yeah, each club's got different strengths and weaknesses with that.
Just one more on the sub rule. A lot of fans find it quite bizarre that a player will be credited with a match even if they don't get on the field.
Yeah.
Just wondering what you think of that.
I don't really have an opinion. I suppose it is. It's frustrating for the player. I know that when they're running around after the game, 10k. Connor West happened to him on the weekend. So he had to tick over his 10Ks after the game, but he got his match payments, so he's happy.
Adam, just the 2 wins for the season and a very real chance of this being West Coast's worst ever AFL season. Does that play on your mind at all, that, I guess, whatever the opposite of honour is?
The opposite of honour?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, look, it's not ideal, but you got to park your ego a little bit with that as well. And, we've got a lot of work to do, so we know that. And we know there's been circumstances this year that have been out of our control a little bit and some things that we've got full control over. So, yeah, that doesn't really, I'm not losing sleep on the fact that might be the record, but the fact we've got a lot of work in front of us, it doesn't concern me, it excites me more than anything, but I'm a realist, I know where we're at.
And you said you're looking for consistency against the Saints. There was sort of 3/4 of being in the game, and then they sort of blew you away at the end. Are you seeing that improvement? What are the last bits you need to get right to be in games?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think 5 minutes to go was, it wasn't a big difference. They kicked 2 goals really late, so we were within 2 or 3 goals almost all day. So I reckon there's been 6 games in a row now. We've been within 18 points at 3/4 time. So inability to close out of games, obviously where we're at the moment, but that's an improvement on where we were the 6 weeks before it, where we were just getting blown away, in particular early. So, yeah, we're getting a bit more consistent with effort and attitude and performance, but we're not getting the results. So all we can do is keep trying to be in the mix and finish off a game. That would be great for us if we could do that in the next 4 weeks.
Adam, you mentioned that there's been a lot of continuity issues, been a lot of speed bumps in the way.
Yeah.
You've had players like Josh Kennedy being managed every week. Has someone like Shane Hearn been quite surprising how consistent he's been this year? It might potentially be his last season as well.
Well, he's been consistent for probably 12 years, and we wait for the time where, the game might go past him, but that hasn't been the case this year. He's been as consistent as ever, and he's been, really, really good for us. So shouldn't be surprised, but definitely the game hasn't caught up with him, and he's probably in our top 3 or 4 in our BNF. So yeah, he's definitely hasn't let us down at all this year.
Is he showing signs that this might be the end, or is he putting his hand up to keep continuing?
Yeah, we'll talk to him at the end of the year. We've got to see where the rest of the list is at, and what we need to do. But we're not going to completely, rip the heart out of the club either. So we need to manage it the best way we can with the draft and recruits and youth. But it's not going to happen in, 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, we're going to get that right. But we'll talk to him at the end of the year.
There has been a bit of talk about veterans being some of the people that might be vulnerable to being moved on at the end of the year. When they're performing so well, is that difficult to manage when you're looking at it from a list perspective?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I mean, there's a balance. So there's not room for everyone, but there's also room for some leadership still and some growth for next year that, we have players there that might not play every game, but that can help the younger players transition through what we see as an important, obviously, 12 months. So, yeah, we'll make all those calls at the end of the year. And some of the guys will be really keen to go on and some of the guys will wind up. So,
just this week, does the trip to the Gold Coast affect the 22 that you do select?
well, JK is probably the one that we'll manage him through the next 4 weeks as best we can. So his body probably prevents him from playing this week, but I think we managed it in a way that he wasn't going to play anyway.